What up, it's your boy Frank the Tank, aka Mr. Trying to Get That Money in the Bank. So far, not working. Hey, so, funny little story. Welcome to the Apophis Car Channel, the car channel for the DIY type of guy. I'm a DIY guy, every day trying to be ordinary, but always exceeding to try to be extraordinary. It's me, Frank the Tank, aka Mr. Trying to Get That Money in the Bank. Over there in the background, you see him right there with the wet hair. That's my boy, Tyler Weiler. He's the one that's helping me out. So today, what we're doing is we're working on Grandma's 2014 Nissan Altima. What are we doing, you might ask? Because who in their right mind would keep working on an Altima that keeps messing up? Well, I'm gonna give you a hint. Dun 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 dun. So, my brother was using my mom's car, and it's obviously had problems. It's had its ups and downs. My mom doesn't always maintenance stuff the way she's supposed to because she doesn't always have time. I'm always kind of busy because I work, and you hear the screaming in the house. I have other little children that I'm always dealing with. So I got a lot on my plate. She's got a lot on her plate. Everybody's got a lot on the plate. That's what the fucking recession is, pardon my language, because that's what this government has done to us. Isn't that right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, sucks. So hopefully Trump will get us back in right, because I'm a Trump guy. Represent Trump. Love you, man. Anyway, because a lot of people don't like that, but you know, whatever. So today what we're going to do is we're going to actually work on my mom's car. So buried underneath the battery tray, the mount, the air box is the transmission. And I don't know if you can see that down there. You see how it's all really wet looking, right? So something failed in the transmission. I'm assuming it's a hydraulic belt because it's a rubber belt that has metal pieces that the hydraulic gear squeezes to get you, going. It is a CVT. I know people are going to complain about the CVT. Let's not, because I already know it. I have had a couple of Nissans. My Nissan, it's no longer mine. It's my wife's. It's out there. So my wife's Nissan has a CVT transmission. It's still running strong. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes not. But these things are not cheap. If you're ever looking for one, I highly recommend going on eBay, and you can find them. I got this one off of eBay for, I think it was like 2 G's, somewhere around there. With taxes, it was like $2,100, something like that. But it has a 1-year warranty through the people who I bought it from. And it had only 36,000 miles on it when it was full. So that is like basically a brand new transmission. Which, once I put this into this message, will make this car run. This engine is a good engine. It does turn on. It still does that. It just has no forward, reverse, or anything. So this thing has got to come out, and it's got to get ripped out. Most of the time, you have to go take this to a shop. And a shop, when you buy your own stuff, will not put the stuff you buy in the car because they don't want to warranty it. Because they feel like if you're doing that, you're up to something that's no good. That's not the way we work here. This is, like I said, the DIY guy stuff. We try our hardest to show you step by step what to do, how we do it, and that way, if you're ever in this situation, you have the actual skills and knowledge to do this yourself. Now, I'm not doing this technically for people on YouTube. I don't mind you guys using the information, but this is not actually wasn't started for everybody out there, okay? I originally started this channel because during a portion of my life, I was not able to be around my children, and I didn't get to talk to them, see them, or any of that stuff. So I was worried that I was never going to be able to teach them anything. So I started doing videos on YouTube to try and bridge the divide, so to speak. And that's exactly what I've been doing ever since. So I teach everybody who watches my videos. And if you are watching, I love you guys. Thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell everybody, get my channel to blow up so I can be big like Goon Squad, because I love you, Goon Squad. And, B is for Bill, love that guy too. So if you're in there, follow me, guys, because I love y'all's content. I did this basically so that way if something happens to me, my children have something they can go back to and still see that while I'm not here, I'm still always kind of here. You know what I'm saying? I know that might be a little corny. It might be a little weird for some people. I don't know. I just wanted to do something so that way my kids had something legacy-wise to remember me by. And I'm blessed because my oldest over here, he's actually going to be helping me out, and he's going to be learning firsthand. My other children, they're inside. They don't like doing the whole getting hands, fingers dirty stuff kind of thing, but they'll learn. So, you know, we do what we got to do. Now, I already took the airbox and the battery out of this thing because the battery was completely dead, and airbox was pretty quick to get out. I was looking at it, and I'm pretty sure if I remove these guys right here, a lot of people say you can't take these things out from the top, but looking at the torque converter on it, I'm actually saying that that might not be true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up the car, put it on jack stands, remove both of the wheels and then the CV axles. Once those are out and this thing is up in the air, I'm going to get underneath and I'm going to remove the bolts from the underside of the torque converter. There's 4 of them. And once those bolts are off, there's only the bolts that are surrounding the perimeter of this thing. And once those bolts come off, this should be able to pop off. Well, that and the transmission mount that's right here. I don't believe there's one down low, but I will verify and check. But like I said, I gotta take apart a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna take all that stuff off. If I can get it out through the top, it'll make this a whole lot easier, because normally these things only come out when you drop the cradle straight down, and you have to lift the car up about 4 feet to be able to do it. So we're going to try and do it in a workaround way, so that those people who are watching this for help for their vehicles, if you can't do it yourself on a lift or take it to a shop to have it done, you might be able to learn how to do it yourself in your comfort of your own garage or wherever you're at, because this is something that's doable. So give me a second. First things first, I'm going to jack up the car and put it on jack stands. I'm going to remove the wheels, and I'll be back in a second. All right, so after a couple of minutes of exhaustive work, and then me having to take a brief intermission to go to my dad's, because I now, just in case you're not aware, I got diagnosed with diabetes type 2. No, it's not funny. It sucks. And it's something that I'm going to have to learn to live with for them. All of them. And yeah, not fun, but you know, we're still gonna keep on keeping on doing what we got to do. So Tyler's removing these three 13 millimeter top hats. They're screws that go into the strut, because on top of taking out the strut, we're gonna take out the lower control arm, which I already did, and we're gonna change out a whole bunch of parts. But for right now, like I said, he's taking that out. The knuckle, I took off the knuckle, so all that's taken off. And her hub bearing assembly seems okay. It's not making any weird noises. So let me get over here real quick. Scooch your booch. All right. So as he's taking those out, just so you're aware, I already demolished the side of the car. I put the caliper onto the frame, and I used the zip tie to do it. The caliper bolts are... Hold on. Did you get it? Yeah, take them all the way off now. Hold on. Hold this, Skypey. Oh, my Skypey's right there. Hold that. Okay. You got all 3 of them out?
Taking out the first one.
It doesn't even look like her
Oh my goodness.
or him. He ate so bad.
What?
Only 2 of them ate horrible.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Breakfast Club?
Oh.
What do you mean you don't know who that is.
I couldn't
Everybody
see
knows
it.
who the Breakfast
I'm blind. No.
Everybody knows who the Breakfast Club is.
Oh, I didn't realize who it was because I couldn't see it. It just looked like some kids. I was like, why are you showing me kids?
What's the Breakfast Club?
It's a movie.
Oh my lord.
It's a cult classic.
It's an amazing movie
Yeah.
about teenagers who basically get into the Saturday detention and then they start like jamming out and smoking weed and a bunch of other stuff.
Hey, focus on what you're recording.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, because I'm sexy. No, so
Is it coming out?
it should be. I hope so. You get it?
Can you push it up?
That's as much as I got.
One thing we have to do is this.
You'll be able to take it out with your fingers now.
No?
Okay. Just like giving birth. This, give me the phone, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a strut. Oh, careful. You don't ever want to mess with this side because this is under a lot of tension. This one is a Duralast part. Let me try and get this out for you. Just so you know, if you have a Altima, this is usually for this year, whatever body style is equal to this year. The part number for Duralast is a LS34 8572 1L, and then it's the exact same number except for the L is an R on the right side. My mom has these under warranty, just like she has the lower control arms under warranty. So these two are going to get replaced, and this CV axle is under warranty as well. It's probably still kind of good, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I just do not want to risk it. I'm putting a transmission in. Might as well do the due diligence and change these anyway. So I'm going to pull this one out. Once this guy's out, I'm going to start removing the connections that are on the transmission on the inside. I'm going to get underneath, open the little viewport, and I'll show you how to do that, and then turn this over slowly and remove the 4 nuts that are holding the torque converter into the flex plate of the starter or the engine, and then we're going to do this exact same thing on the other side. And once all that's said and done, the only other thing after taking the bolts that are holding this to the engine off is the motor mount, and then I'm going to try and lift this guy straight out. Don't know how well that's going to work, but I'm going to do what I got to do for my DIYers. Anyway, so give me a second, let me get this out. Like I was trying to tell you. All right, so this nut is the nut that goes on the end of the CV axle. All right, so if ever you have to change one of these guys out, they come with a brand new nut. The size for that nut is a 32 millimeter. I think I put it on that side. Oh, yeah, it's over there. See that one right there? That one, the one that zones out. So that's a 32 millimeter nut right there. So once you get that guy out, you can learn how to do all the rest of the stuff. So these guys right here are the ones that hold the steering knuckle right here to the strut right here. On one side it's a 13/16, and on the other side I used, if I'm not mistaken, a 21 millimeter. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, 21. So yeah, so I use a 21 on one side and a 13/16 on the other to get them out. You got to break them out even, so that way you can get them. And once those are off, you have a darn it. There's quite a few bolts. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this 13/16 also doubles for the lower control arm bolt. And I used, I think, the 21 again on the top to get it out. So yeah, so those took out the lower control arm bolts that are right here and right here, and then it took out the connection for the for the strut right here. So 13, 16, and 21 took those off, those 4 main ones off. The lower control arm has that little nub on it, and it's got a threaded screw that goes through and a nut on the other side that holds it in place, and it sits flush on this little insert right here. So once you get those guys off, you should be able to work what you got to get what you need. So this one was a size 18, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this one's for the sway bar link is what I used to get the sway bar link bolt to come free. It's an 18 millimeter. Is it the 18 or is it this one? No, that's not it. That's the one for this guy. Yeah. Okay. No, this is it. This is the one for the sway bar link, and that's not an 18, I believe. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, so 18 millimeter for the sway bar link to remove that from the connection right here on the strut, and then right here is the brake line, and that's held in by this little clip. So it sits like this, putting tension on the line. You gotta knock it out, and then the line can get pushed through and come out. Yeah, so little by little we're working. Oh, and these are the brake caliper bolts. So these guys go here, they go in here and connect to the back of the knuckle right here. Let me show you. Right there, those little connections right there. And then obviously you have to also remove the tie rod. This tie rod has seen some better days, so I am probably gonna try and get her another one. I don't know, she's the one who doesn't want to spend the money for it, but you know, I don't know, I might have this under warranty or something, I don't know, but we're gonna see. So that's all out. You got to remember, when you're taking apart this side of the car, even the other side, this is your vehicle wheel speed sensor. It's held into the knuckle by a size 10 millimeter bolt right there. If you damage this, if this gets damaged while taking all this apart, know that your car will go into limp mode. It won't accelerate. The gears won't change. You can fry the transmission. This is a very important piece. It connects right there on the knuckle, and it's measured off of the speed of the wheel bearing right there. So it's very critically important that when you remove this, you remove it gently and do not just let it hang, because you can rip the wires on the inside, and if you do that, the car will not shift out of first gear and you will have a lot of problems. Your car will light up like a Christmas tree. It might put your car into limp mode. There's a whole bunch of cockadoodie poo-poo that you don't want to have to deal with. So that's what we did here, minus this, because I got to take this one out right now. What we did here, we got to do on the other side too. So the other side's going to look empty like this. Oh no, where's the wheel? Oh no, Mr. Bell. So give me a second. Let me knock the CV axle out. And obviously you want to put a catch pan underneath, because that CVT fluid is going to leak out. Once this side's done, we can go work on the other side, knock that other side out. Then we can start doing the transmission stuff. The transmission. So hold up on there right quick. Let me get on it, partner. All right, sorry for the, time skip from yesterday to today, because we ended up stopping. As you can see, I put some gloves on to protect my pretty hands. Anyway, so we removed all the passenger side, the strut. There's bolts that hold it up on top. I believe those are 13 millimeters, and there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then the strut comes down now that you got all that done. And the same on the other side, 11/32, and it's 13/16 and a 19. I thought it was a 21, but let's see. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Okay, so yeah, so it's a size 21, or is it 22? Nope, that's too big. so small. Well, it's 13 sixteenths on one side, and then the equivalent on the opposite side, which is 21. Yeah, 21. I don't know if you can really see because of the light, but it's a 21, and then a 13 sixteenths on the other side of the nut. Then you can remove the Then you can remove the lower control arm. As you can tell, that's not how it's supposed to look. That's because we found out there's an oil leak on the car. You see this? This is no bueno. But this is actually from, if we look up that way, follow it up there. What's up there? That, my friends, is the valve cover gasket. So the valve cover gasket has to be changed, and we got to try and clean this up. Luckily, from Amazon, I bought a engine steamer, and its whole function and purpose is to clean stuff like this off, because you don't want this kind of stuff over your engine. It gets everywhere. It makes everything look like crap, and then it starts fouling out stuff. While you're down here, you want to inspect your rack and pinion right here to make sure that your rack and pinion is still good. My mom's tie rods, as you can tell right here, these outer tie rods are no good no more, so I have to change these guys out. And the inner ones there, they don't have any flex, so they're still okay, aside from the fact that they're loose. I can change them, but I don't know what she's planning on doing. I'm gonna put it to her. I already told her actually earlier that she needs to replace these guys and the sway bar link that connects right here to the top of the strut. That guy's bad too, so we took that off. And then she's also gonna get the valve cover gasket. So I'm gonna do the valve cover gasket, outer tie rods, and the sway bar bushings, sway bar links, lower control arm, strut. It's all gonna be replaced on both sides of the car, so that way it's pretty much brand new. I'm gonna clean all this gunk off right now with the steamer and try and get it taken care of. You can look very closely. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so very closely, you see that one? This piece right here is where the CV axle sits. The bottom end of the CV axle connects here, and there's a plate that's held in by two bolts, these guys. These guys, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe these are a 13 millimeter. You will have to use a long extension to get it, but yeah, 13. So these are 13 millimeter screws that hold it in. You have to use a long extension to get it. It doesn't have to be an impact. You can use regular manual force and it'll work just fine. So you take those two off, the plate will fall down, and literally once that plate's off, this CV axle will literally slide right out. Unless there's something bound up on the inside, it's not supposed to get stuck. On the driver's side though, that is not the case. On the driver's side, it's got a clip that once it goes in, it snaps open and it's hard to get out. So you have to pry it out with, usually they have a special tool that you can use. It looks like a big ass fork like this, and you hammer it up and eventually it pops that thing out. I don't have that. I'm gonna try and use another method to get it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm gonna find a way to get it out. I always do. It just takes some time. So now that this is done, I'm gonna get the steam cleaner and I'm gonna steam this off real quick to see if I can clean up as much as possible while the transmission is draining. Remember, when you take this CV axle out, because there's no pressure on it, whatever the fluid level is inside the CVT transmission is gonna come out of that hole. And luckily I put my pan down so that way it can catch what was dripping. So now it's dripping, and I'm not gonna have to worry about cleaning up a whole bunch of mess all over my floor, because that's a no-no. We don't like that. So let me finish what I'm doing. Oh, and if you're wondering where Tyler is, he went, my tie man, he went inside to go look for his glasses because he lost them the other day, or he broke them on accident, and I got to take them to go get them fixed. So right now he's looking for them so we can go get them repaired while I'm trying to do this to get this underway, because we're going to go and exchange all these parts at AutoZone because they are under warranty and get brand new ones. So stand by and I'll go get the other CV axle out and I'll clean this one up real quick, and I'll show you the progress, I guess, when I'm making something. Okay, welcome back. So, as you can tell, there's things clearly that's been done since the last time y'all saw this video, which to you was probably like a few seconds, but for us, it's been a little bit of time. We still have not gone to get the parts yet. Had a lot of stuff happen yesterday, and long story short, I decided to start working on this bit here, okay? So the idea is, originally these engines and transmissions, when they got to be changed, they got to be changed to the bottom, meaning you got to drop the whole cradle, disconnect the steering rack, disconnect all of that stuff. This has to drop down. The car itself has to come up, and then you're supposed to scoot it out. And then you change it out bit by the beam. You know, that's how they normally do it. Well, I'm not going to do that because I can't lift the car. Like I said, it has to be at least 3-4 feet high from the bottom of the car, so that way the cradle can actually sit flush down on the ground. I'm going to attempt to do it from the top. Looking at it, this motor mount right here, connecting right here to the transmission, if this motor mount comes out, I have maybe 3 inches of space to be able to move it over. And the only other thing that's in the way would be this bundle of coolant hoses. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. This is just an attempt. But I do have a strong belief that it will, because I removed the battery bracket and the tray for the ECU and all the component right there. And there's just a whole bunch of little lines that are holding this stuff in place, aside from a couple little connects for sensors that are on this old transmission. Once that's off and that's out of the way, instead of like removing every single hose, I'm going to try and remove it in a big modular piece. So I'm going to take off that hose clip right there, and Skypie's over there sitting on her phone looking like a butthead. Oh, yeah, she's looking up stuff for me for my diabetes. I'm Walter Brimley and I've got diabetes. Anyway, I'm gonna take that hose connection off. I'm gonna remove this whole hose. I'm gonna remove the connections right here. These two. Oh, sorry, that truck driving by. Anyway, I'm gonna remove these two from here. Move them out the way. I might remove this to get just a little bit extra clearance. This hose and this hose are going to get undone by the throttle body, and that hose back here is going to get undone. I think that's just a vacuum hose though, I don't know. But once all of that's done, there's only a couple of bolts that hold this piece, which is like a thermostat or water outlet thing. See the bolt right there? Once that's done, I should be able to remove this whole bundle, and with all of this out of the way, it should give me access to the bolts that are on the top part of the engine over here. Like I said, this is my first attempt doing this. I have done transmissions where I have dropped the cradle. That's one of them right there that I've done. But that one is from a Hyundai Elantra. That is the motor that originally came in my son's car. That one right there. And it's no good, but we're going to harvest some parts off of it. And then this is what I was going to put in it, but it was going to take too much to do it. So I'm going to just sell this, and Jessica will pedo. But like I said, you can tell I get down and I get dirty real bad. Like, I'm not one to shy away from getting shit done. So I'm going to attempt to get this out of the way. And since we're here, the bracket that goes on the battery, it's held in by a whole bunch of different bolts. So let's see. These bolts are the ones that hold the main plate underneath, and then that little fairing that goes with the ECU. These are 12 millimeter bolts, I believe. Let me see. No, 13s. They're 13s. So luckily, most of this car is 13s and 10s, and the occasional 8. So these are all 13 mil bolts. You take them all out, and then that comes out. Once you get those out, there's 2 bolts, one here and one here, that hold on to this frame. That's it. They go right there and right there against the firewall of the car. And that holds this lower tray piece in place. You have to remove this so you can gain access to see if we're going to take the transmission out the top. And yes, I'm going to use my engine hoist to do it. That's why I removed the hood. Anyway, so now that, those two are done. Those two right there are it's a bracket that holds onto the plate. They're 10mm bolts. You have to get to them and get them undone. Once they're undone, you have a lot more flexibility in the wiring harness. You can move it over easier. The other thing that I took off was the what's it called, the dipstick. The dipstick tube for the CVT. There's a 10mm bolt there, and then there's another 10mm bolt that was connected right here. And then it's got a couple of things that are like these guys right here. They're snap clips that go in there. There's one there, and then there's one here. You got to remove. Using pliers or your nails, if you got a hard enough nail, will work very well. Now, the other thing, once you're getting up to here, you have to remove the starter. So the starter, luckily, is a 13mm. You can get this guy out with a 13mm. This guy is actually an 8mm. I believe it is. Let's see. What the heck? Yeah, 8mm. You can barely see it. This 8mm. So 8mm will get this secondary line off for you. And there's two of them, one here and one right here. They sit right here and right here respectively. So once you get the connections off, you get those two bolts out. Literally, it's just a little wiggle and pull, and it comes right out. So now that that's done, like I said, I'm gonna start working on getting this cleared up. I am gonna drain the radiator into a fill, like something, so that way I don't have to worry about that fluid getting everywhere. But stand by, let me get that done, and then I'll start popping these connections off. Baby. Okay, I got that one lined up. Where's the crescent? So I got that kind of lined up because I'm having, huh?
You threaded?
Yeah, one of them did.
Okay, that's good.
So it looks like it's gonna, if I can get these bottom ones on, the top ones will go in no problem. So let's try nice and slow. Okay, babe, hold this right here. Thanks, Tyler. You shot me with a face full of cat litter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to move it.
So a lot of work, but it is doable. So again, if you're gonna be doing this, you need to make sure that the studs on the new torque converter match up with the flex plate. Most of the time when you take off a motor mount or anything, sorry, my baby's crying, it'll start shifting things. So you need to make sure you're doing things right too. And what I'm doing right now is I'm threading these two screws that got in to try and seal up this bottom plate to the top one. And so far it looks like it's working. And yeah, look what. So the stud is now moving closer to the little flex plate. See that? So all I'm doing is I lined it up kind of with sight, and then I'm slowly, very slowly, making sure it doesn't get bound up anywhere, putting this guy to bring the bottom of the casings together. And again, this is a size 16, so I'm putting this guy in once I get this guy in, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna tighten this guy. Actually, I guess maybe this guy doesn't want to go in anymore. I don't know, but I need to get one of them in because the sooner I get the main one in. Oh yeah, look, you see that? That's something that came from the manufacturer, so we're gonna have to get that new one. Anyway, so as this seats itself, everything else should line up, and then I should be able to throw all the bolts back in, and then we'll be able to move forward with operation getting stuff done. So stand by and let me get this. Let's see. It looks like it's there, but it's not all the way. I don't know why. By now it should have already been in there. Should have already come through, because you see how there's no space in there. All right. Well, still back there a bit. I don't believe it's supposed to be back there because the other one wasn't. Man, I really hope this transmission is the right transmission because this is what they sent us. Check the top. Maybe it's because the top is off. Oh. Shoot, cocky mushrooms. Yeah, see, so the top is still off. So maybe that's why it's not lining up down there. But we shall soon see. Oh, actually, where's the... That's not it. Where's the screws, my son?
I'm really not sure. One of them is still connected to the magnet.
See, I mean, it's pretty much, they're pretty much right there, but... Okay, where's the... Alright, so let's see. That is not a 16. That is a 16. But I don't think that's it. Is it? Okay, so going through the bottom, no damn way. Unless you drop the cradle, it doesn't fit. Might be possible for some cars. This one was just not going to work. Tyler's over there. He's been feeling sick. And what you can see here is a CVT transmission from the car. We're taking it out through the top. Be advised when you're doing this, there's a lot of little things that can get broken. One of the things that got broken for me was whatever the hell this doohickey is. I'm going to have to find a part and replace it for my mom. It cracked off. I had to take off the throttle body. I didn't remove the intake manifold because for that I might as well just fucking have dropped the cradle. But yeah, we got it. It's already coming out. Literally, we only have to pump it up a couple more times, get it out of the way. But when this happens, when you're doing something like this, these things are not your friends. They'll pop out because they're full of CVT fluid, your torque converter. So it popped off and it literally got lodged on the flex plate down there. As you can see, it's still taking a piss. I got all over my floor, so I'm gonna have to clean my floor up, but we got it. So once we get this one out of the way, then we can start worrying about putting the other one back, and then I can start rebuilding everything. Me and Tyler, me and the Tyler Weiler. There was a whole bunch of little things. I took off all the brackets on the driver's side. Was the motor mount, the battery tray, and in the back there was a little silver bracket that holds the air box. It's held in by two 10mm screws. You have to finagle the damn wiring harness to get them out, but once you do, it's good. I had to take off all the hose connections like I originally said I was gonna do. I should have just done that in the first place. I was just hoping that I could have done it from the bottom. But yeah, no, this was not gonna come out from the bottom. So we definitely had a trial and error thing. So now that we've done it, you don't have to do it. You know, you can do it like this. And literally, cherry picker. It's just about patience and maneuvering, and you know, you can do it. So I'm gonna get this guy the rest of the way out, start cleaning up some stuff, and then I'll be right back. Dun dun dun. Hold on. No, hold on. Dun 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 dun. So some time has passed, and as you can see, the transmission is right there, being held up by my jack, my 3-ton jack, and then some. And then yeah, I got a boo-boo, but that happened last night, not related. So there's this little window right here between the transmission and the engine. It's got two 10mm bolts, and then this little plate that slides out. And this is your flywheel or flex plate. You have to rotate that to get to the 4 bolts that are holding the torque converter to the flex plate. And then something that I didn't realize is I already got most of the perimeter bolts out. See, all the perimeter bolts are out except for hiding up here. These two son bitches need to come out as well. I think they're still the same size. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna get those two fuckers out. And then once those are out, all the exterior perimeter ones are out. The motor mount is out. And luckily the motor mount is all 16s. So I think these are 16s too. I hope so. And then I just got to get the 4 bolts from in here out, and then the transmission should. I'm going to try it. The first way I'm going to try it is I'm going to try and drop it down, because I was realizing that there's enough space here, aside from back there. There's enough space to actually get this fucker out through this little hole that's in the frame without actually taking out the frame. You will have to drop out the exhaust though, because it gets in the way. Ow. So just as a precaution, just to get those 2 freaking bolts up there, I had to drop the exhaust, right? And that was 15s and then 16s up here. So this oil cooler, the new transmission has it already. But this one, it's connected by a whole bunch of these little hoses up here. I'm thinking I'm gonna take this off and see if I can drop the transmission to the bottom. If I can, because I have more than enough space once it's down low, I'll pull it out from underneath the car, set the other transmission up on it, on the jack, roll it back underneath, jack it back up into place, and maybe bolt it all back together today. So let me try and get those 2 back there, and these 2. Oh, and just so you're aware, what else did I do? Yeah, I disconnected all the little sensor stuff that's on here. Like I said, the starter and all that has to come off. So it's literally just those 4 bolts that are inside here, and then those 2 bolts back there. That's all that's holding this transmission aside from the jack up. I already took the motor mount out too, so there's no motor mount holding the transmission anymore. It's those hoses and this flex thing. So I'm gonna take these 2, those 4, and then the 2 in the back, and then I'm gonna attempt to try and get this thing to come down through the bottom. If I can manage it, I will show you, and then from there we will go. And as you can tell, there's a reason why this thing stopped working. It either blew the seal or something, but this thing is no good no more. It's completely trashed. So I'm gonna take care of it, and we're gonna change it out. So stand by. All right. So I'm doing the video. So we took another little siesta, because this is important, because it's my mom's car, Tyler's grandma's car. Tyler's on the other side trying to rebuild the Driver's side, he's over there. Say hi, Tyler.
Hey.
So we went and we got all the parts. There's the brand new strut installed. There's 3 bolts at the top. They're size 13. This is the new sway bar link. This one is a size 19. So size 19, there's 1 bolt there, one that goes there. We also installed the brand new lower control arm. Remember which screw goes where. These are only in for right now. They haven't been tightened yet. That's why there's still that space right there. You got one there and you got one there. The shorter one goes in the front, the longer one goes to the back. The new CV axle has already been installed with the 2 bolts. There's one there and one there. Those are size 12s, or were they 13s? I think they were no, those were 13s. So the CV shaft sits in this holder right here. But you see that bolt right there, and then there's that, oh, and then there's that bolt right there, and then there's another bolt right there. Hold on. Underneath that wire. Let me see if I can get you in there. All right, you see those 2 bolts? So that one's an 18, that one's the 16. You gotta remember which way it goes. So 16, 18, and then 4 16s at the bottom. As you can tell, we've already got the transmission installed. Oh, hold on. You got to see those 4 bolts? So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is right there, 4. So those are 4 16mm bolts. Once you get all that said and done, the transmission, using it does come out through the top. It's a hell of a lot easier than taking off the cradle. You do have to take a lot more out. You have to be very careful. But it is doable. You can do this. Me and him did that one in a day. We pulled out the old transmission, and I mean, we literally tore all of this snit off and took the transmission out. It was a day, right? And put the new one in?
Yeah, it was just a day.
A day. 1 day. So shops, y'all need to pick it up. But so this lower control, I mean this tie rod is damaged. You can tell the boot's torn up and everything. So we're gonna change it out. We got my mom new ones. So you gotta loosen that nut. To not throw the alignment off too much, I'm only gonna back that nut off a little bit. That way this can come undone. Because this does, once that tension's off, this does undo. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Try and keep it as level as possible, because she is gonna need to get alignment done once this is all said and done, because all of this was redone. So let me try and get that guy off, and I'll be right back with you.